just singing. It was,
it
was happy birthday, and my aunt has a great voice. That's all it was. We do so many different things on the program, and we always try to not only be fun, obviously, and not only to present you music and comedy, but we like to educate the listener at times and learn about the events going on in this world. And Brody and I, we have opinions on things, but they're not from an expert point of view. So we said, you know what? Why don't we bring in Sandra Zisckind from Diamond & Diamond Lawyers and just to ask her what's going on in the world of law, because this is the stuff that makes headlines on the daily. And here she is. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
I got your last name right.
You got it perfect. Thank you.
Nice. I appreciate you coming. Do you like to do a lot of the media stuff? Do you get in front of the mic and cameras a lot?
I do. I don't. I like to do it. I don't get to do it as often as I'd like. This is way more fun than some of the other stuff I have to do. So certainly I love this.
Yeah, because I mean, the lawyer business is tough, man. You guys.
It's tough. And it's trauma season for us right now. So I've been going from Sunnybrook to St. Mike's. I've been running around like a crazy person today.
So when you say trauma season, what do you mean by that?
It's now is the season where the worst accidents tend to happen. It just started now. I know people think it's the winter time, but it's not. It's not. It's actually right now because the weather gets nicer. People start drinking and driving, texting and driving, speeding. Pedestrians are out more in force. And I had a few pedestrians get slammed this past week.
Wow. Well, that's so Diamond & Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers, of course. I mean, if you haven't heard of Diamond & Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers, at least in this part of the world, and again, we are on Sirius XM,
right.
So we get to all of Canada and the United States and stuff, but a big core right here in Toronto. I mean, you guys are obviously very effective and very well known. What are the majority of cases that people reach out to you for?
So it's basically mainly motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls. We get some dog bites. We get some sort of interesting other ones. I had one lion bite case. That was fun.
What? A lion?
I did. I had one lion bite case. It was very exciting.
Where was this? Yeah.
I didn't know myself. Apparently, there's private zoos all over Ontario where people house these lions and tigers and bears, and oh my, here we are, and there you go. They don't house them correctly, and sometimes people get bitten.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Can you talk about if you won or lost that case, or is it
99% of our cases settled? That one was one that settled because clearly there wasn't much defense to a lion biting somebody.
Yeah, it's like compare the teeth marks. Like, I'm not making this up.
That's right. That's right.
My goodness, that is like, I mean, it sounds like a Hangover plot or something.
It was. That's where they call me for their inspiration every time they do one of those movies.
I love it. Sandra Zisckind from Diamond & Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers. The harsh reality of your business, though, I guess, is that really that people can get really exploited against when these type of things are, whether it's faulty, icy, slippery laneways.
Correct.
And a lot of times people don't have the courage to go and do something when it's been a debilitating disease for themselves.
Well, and the problem is, like the couple of people that I saw this week, they're in the hospital, they're laid up, their family's laid up. The last thing they're thinking about is a pile of insurance forms that they have to fill out. One thing that we do is we get in there, we help them with the insurance forms, we help them with the discharge, we have teams available to help them, and we're there for them. When they don't know where else to turn, we are there to help facilitate all of this.
Is it safe to say that, and everyone can say what you want about lawyers and lawyers this, lawyers that, there really is, there's compassion here from your firm?
Look, at the end of the day, I love people always call us ambulance chasers and always have derogatory things to say, especially about personal injury lawyers. I think we're hated just as much as politicians. But the reality is, I don't get paid unless I'm successful. So I have to believe in my clients as much as they believe in me, or I don't get money. So for me to earn a living, I take a gamble on each and every client because I have to wait till the end, till I get my percentage, because nobody's giving me a retainer. Nobody's saying, here's $20,000, Sandra, go run my case. I just get a percentage at the end. So if the clients don't believe in me and I don't believe in them, I get nothing.
I really appreciate you candidness, actually, because a lot of lawyers wouldn't even come on media and say that, and you got to believe in your client. So it's a contingency law, is that essentially?
That's what it is. Personal injury is contingency because 99% of my clients cannot afford to give me a $20,000 or $30,000 retainer to start working on a file. So I take a percentage at the end when we're successful. So my success relies with their success.
And the thing about contingency law, if you don't understand it, people, and you don't have a grasp of it, is this way you're like the accountability of your lawyer, and and you guys, Sandra, over at Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers, is 100% there because
Correct.
they have to be an advocate of what you're going through to get paid. It's not just a money grab. It's not just dockets on the phone and let's just
Right.
sort of waste your time. It's like, no, the more time they spend with you, that's how much more focus they are on the case. It's actually refreshing to hear that, to be honest.
Right, and in fact, the less time we have the file, the quicker we settle it, the better for me because that's the only way I make my money.
Because
Right?
or else you put in thousands of hours for a smaller
Exactly.
settlement.
Exactly.
Well, it's weird. It's very candid approach, and I do appreciate that. Some news stories going on regarding law. There's like this alleged terror plot now going in Montreal. What's going on over there?
I have no clue. They're not releasing much of the details, I suspect, because they're still under investigation what they were doing. But it seems like they're popping up all over the place. Now, we have new legislation that's allowing the government to go in and sort of do more there. But it's going to be interesting to find out what they were allegedly going to terrorize. We know these gentlemen want to leave the country. I, for one, say leave. Don't blow anything up, just leave. But we have our own laws here.
Interesting. Right. If you want to leave just
Go,
before you hurt us,
yeah.
go. I appreciate that candidness as well. Do lawyers take a close look at this Bill C-51 law?
From the criminal point of view, they're looking at it much more closely, obviously, to see what the sort of changes are going to be. But and it's going to be interesting as to whether or not it stands up constitutionally. That's going to be the big issue, right? Because there's been quite a few laws recently that just got knocked down, including the minimum gun sentence law just got knocked down by the Supreme Court of Canada. The federal government put minimums for people who have a gun or carrying a gun. Supreme Court of Canada just threw that out. There's a few things they're throwing out, and I think you also know about, not to jump around, but you know about the Eaton Center shooting?
Yeah. I mean, I do know about the Eaton Center, and you just got 30 years, right, without parole?
So if I was a betting person, that's going to the Supreme Court of Canada.
So you think that one will get appealed against?
I think it will, because they're trying to do it on the same basis as those minimum gun sentences, saying it's cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this was Christopher Husbands. Was he was the one who was sentenced to life, right, in prison with
Correct.
no chance of parole for the two revenge murders that made tons of news a while ago over at the Eaton Center. So interesting. So because of this, explain it to me again.
Okay. So how it used to work in Canada was, for first-degree murder, you used to get 25 years. It didn't matter how many people you murdered. You could murder 100 or you could murder one, and you'd get 25 years because it was not consecutive. It was always concurrent.
Which it is in the States, right? If I'm correct?
No, in the States, they're wonderful. They give you 125 years. They give you 400 years on it. They're insane. So we're not even going to pay attention. So what they did here was a lot of victims advocates groups said, hey, that's not really fair, because you're basically saying one murder is good for all, like you're only punishing one murder. So what they did instead was they changed the parole. So they said you can have you can have consecutive sentences, and it can go for each one, and no chance of parole for 30 years. So this guy got convicted of second-degree murder, which holds 10 to 25 years, and he's not eligible for parole for 30 years.
Isn't that interesting? And one of the first cases of its kind to be like that.
Correct. It's called, I think it's called the mass murder law for victim advocate. Because again, I forgot his name, but there was a guy in Canada that killed 11 children. It was a horrible case. He got 25 years. People were so upset. 25 years for 11 children.
Oh, disgusting.
So, disgusting. So they came up with this compromise so that we're kind of like our friends to the States, but not overboard.
It's actually a realistic approach at it,
Exactly.
as opposed to saying, how can you serve 400 years and
Exactly.
unless you just kept the body there and let people look at it and
I don't
remember.
know. Perhaps in Texas, but not in Toronto. That's for sure.
Well, that I will follow that case much more closely. That's a really interesting thing to know, that we have kind of changed and tried to adapt to at least make sure that you're punished. The punishment should fit the crime, not just our crimes, not just one crime.
Agreed. And it gives the victims a sense of justice. Like, I know even from my end, I see sometimes people will come to me to sue people civilly after they don't get their feeling of justice in the criminal system. Like our good friend Gian Gomeshi, we all know he's going to go through the criminal thing, but for sure he's getting sued civilly as well.
They'll come after him for that too.
Oh my goodness.
And that usually results in financial settlements.
That's our only sort of crude way of restoring some form of justice, because under the criminal system, as we saw with our infamous O.J. Simpson, you don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. You just have to tip the scales a little bit.
It's really interesting stuff. Sandra, I totally appreciate you for your time.
My
We still have
pleasure.
a couple other guests, and we got to end the show at 6 o'clock. So I'm so happy that you came down today and
Thank you
shared
for
stuff.
having me.
I hope to have you back and
For sure.
and do like some law updates, because Jay, bro, it's nice to learn this end, and it keeps us in check. Let's be honest.
It's nice. It's nice to talk to a lawyer without a detective behind it. It's a great experience. You guys are misunderstood. It's very nice.
Sandra Zisckind from Diamond and Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers. You'll see them everywhere, but go on their website, diamondlaw.ca, or give them a phone call if you're in the Toronto area, 416-256-1600, 256-1600. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be back. I believe we have Josh Haddon here, comedian, going through a terrible time with cancer, but what a beauty he is. What an inspiration. In a minute here on Canada Laughs Channel 168, you're listening to The Todd Shapiro Show.
Hey, this is Brian Callen. This is Sirius XM. You are listening to The Todd Shapiro Show, the mother of all comedy shows. This is called Canada Laughs because, it's a laughy show. You laugh sometimes.
Here's another listener email to The Todd Shapiro Show.
Hey, Todd, I really like your shoe.
I think he meant show. That was another listener email. To contact the